All right, we are here. A year's worth of league play has led to this moment right here, where we crown our Player of the Year. And one of these players has been with us for a very long time, and the other is about as new as you can be to have qualified for Player of the Year, which is Thomas C. or Jamboree. Uh, what's going on Zach's hand before we talk about a bit more about the players?
Yep. So he's got a Ruin Liquor bat that's coming down. He only has one other land in his hand, but the rest of his cards, he's got a Ratcatcher Trainee, he's got a Caparocti Sunborn, and he's actually got three combat tricks. So he's got Archon's Glory, Auspicious Arrival, and an On the Job.
I mean that's well with the Sunborn, right? Like you want to keep that alive, since it's not just a card advantage machine, but it plays stuff for free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Thomas, as I mentioned when we were doing our looking at the decks, he just started with us in OTJ, but he flew out of the gates, 24 wins, I think, and he's been in contention for top eight in every league that he's played in. So just very, very adept player. Uh, Again, only player in the top eight that has not won a league, but that's only because he's been with us for such a short time. I guess a league victory may be in his future. A player of the year may be in his future here. Looking at the deck, we did see there was only the one rare, the Rakshasa Death Dealer, but he just had a lot of Golgari 2 drops, some good, some good removal, and most importantly, was not fighting over colors. That's a big one.
Okay.
This
So able to block here. I feel like that's a bit risky. It's a lot of potential to get blown out, but didn't work. It worked in Zach's favor this time, and he's able to even get his life total back up.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, the hand is not looking amazing for Thomas. He has a Vine Reap Mentor that he scryed on top. That's the 2-drop 3/2 that makes a food entering and dying, consuming
yep.
ashes, and the rest of his hand is lands. So he has a removal spell and lands. So
Okay.
really bad to not play something on turn three, especially against an aggro deck.
Yeah. I think Zach's gonna want to um play this adventure. Okay, no, he's opting to play his torch that he drew.
Okay, so
Um, I'm, I guess I'll just crack the clue as well.
yeah. So just to mention a couple words about Zach, I believe he made what four top eights this season, five, something like
Four or
this.
five, something insane like that.
Yeah, and he didn't even play every league. Like he skipped a couple of leagues, and he still just ended up top eighting the lion's share of the ones he played in. He won Strixhaven way back in was that 2021 now? So over 3 years ago, he won Strixhaven. Has yet to repeat a league win since then, but he's looking for something a little more lofty here. Player of the year. So one of these players is going to carry that torch. They're going to be just slightly above me on the sidebar of the server there as 2024 Player of the Year, and they'll definitely earned it. Right, the quality of players on our server this year and the amount of growth um, just makes making it to this moment here even more of an accomplishment.
Oh yeah, 100%. Whoever wins this, I'm confident to say that they definitely deserve it.
Yeah. So
Caparocci
all
coming
right.
down. That's gonna eat a consuming ashes. I'd be shocked if
Yeah,
Thomas let that.
Thomas is just going to untap, kill this, attack for four, move on with his life. Get this out of
So
here.
Zach's hand has gotten a lot more dangerous. He's got this Ratcatcher trainee, which on its own is fine, but he's already had an on the job, and he's actually just drawn the game-winning card from last match.
Ooh, the gremlins?
Yeah, it gets a little more scary when you have a couple extra rats lying around.
Yeah, Thornplate Intimidator in hand for Thomas. That card is like the filler 4/3 rat,
Yeah,
which like aggro decks don't really care about that. It's a 4/3 that makes them lose 3 life. It's like okay.
exactly. Okay, so Zach just gonna main phase this so we can also play the other side of it.
Yeah,
Is-
just a great card here. The Ratcatcher training, just 3 bodies. Yep, can't go wrong with this.
Yep.
And
And
there may be a painful scurry of gremlins coming here. Longstock Ball
yeah,
off the top means that Thomas can do away with one of these creatures.
okay.
Um, I believe he was watching the end of the last match, so he at least knows of Scurry of Gremlins. Not that you could build your game to survive it in most cases, but knowledge is power.
Notably, this doesn't really actually reduce the amount of creatures Zach has. So,
Yeah,
uh,
It's just that Ratcatcher Trainee with the Sunfire Torch would be difficult to block. So he
Yeah,
just says, "Let me keep this board small in creature size." But
right.
yeah, Longstock probably against an aggro deck. Sometimes it's not doing exactly what you need, right? Like a 2/1 first strike is better than a 1/1, but it's not so much better that it's worth you casting a card to have them downgrade.
Exactly. Okay, so I think, Zach's probably gonna throw this torch on the job. Looks pretty good right now because it makes everything trade.
Yeah, yeah. The torch doesn't improve any ground attacks, but the on the job absolutely does.
Yeah, which
And
that's, I mean, if I'm Thomas, that's not, if my opponent goes full swing with a bunch of 1/1s, you got to imagine they've got some sort of mass pump
yeah,
and
and
throw
Thomas
out.
is I mean he has a swamp in hand, but otherwise empty-handed, drawing off the top of the deck. I don't I don't remember seeing too much card advantage. Maybe he has one or two things that can draw a card, but he's just trying to find something here. Well, I mean, we know he doesn't have any of these like crazy bomb rares that can swing the game wildly, so he may be in trouble here, depending on what deck Zach decides to do with this turn.
Yep. So equipping the torch in the air, imagine, yep, swinging out, and threatening on the job, of course.
Yeah, so Thomas is just gonna. I mean,
I
I
think at
assume
this
he's gonna do some amount of blocking here and be sad about the results.
point, even if, I mean, if Thomas goes no blocks, you definitely still on the job here. That's was that 13 damage?
Yeah, that'll be close. He says. So interesting. Decides not to put his other creature. He said, "I want to have one thing lying around. If he has a +2 plus O or some effect like that, I'll lose one creature." And of note, he is going to have 6 life here on layaway with the foods. That's not
Yeah,
nothing, but he does still need to draw something to pull him into this.
right. Yeah, if I'm Zach, I'm just firing on the job off here. Get rid of. Yep. His
Um,
rat will die. Take the fish off. Get some damage in. Yeah.
I feel like when you attack all, you're committing to doing this,
Yeah.
regardless of blocks that occur. I know, I don't think there's any situation where he's attacking all without casting that. Land off the top is absolute misery here.
This this transmogric can come back, but it does come back tapped.
Yeah,
So
and be tapped. So he can do that and gain 3 life, but not progressing his board state to a point of stability. Unfortunately, this flyer is still gonna poke in for damage, making it that much harder with the lifelink to for Thomas to strike back if he does find something here.
so Zach's draw for turn was a quest caller, which actually does something on the board. It does make that ruin liquor bat a little bigger too.
And that's big. That's big when you have a flying and a lifelink to bump it up.
Yep.
We take those incidental synergies that we weren't planning to enjoy.
He's got options here. So he's at some point he's picked up a bellowing bruiser as well. Thinking of maybe just running it out as a 4/4 haste, but
Was that? Oh, it's the adventure where two things can't block.
yeah.
That could be punishing. Could be a finisher. He could just say, "I'll play it out here," but it just trades with the 4/3. So can't
Okay,
imagine
he's
that's
actually just
super
saying the
important.
4/3 can't block. It looks like.
4/3 can't block attack for 4. I mean, yeah, it puts him to
Yeah.
6, and
He'll
it
bring in
presents a 4/4 next turn.
he'll bring in his quest. He's targeting his own rat with it as well. um,
It can't
he'll bring
block
in
anyway.
he'll
What's
bring in
wrong
the
with this
quest.
guy?
The quest caller will push in extra damage as well. Um, okay, maybe he's not. He doesn't look like he wants to
Okay.
play. Okay,
I
all right.
mean, yeah, you saw. Let's see what. Okay, just the 4.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know why he's playing it
Did he
second
not?
game.
He may have. He may now be realized. Yeah, he may not have computed that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was just a small oversight, right?
it happens.
Like we're used
Oh,
to the Bloomborough creatures that would uh, would trigger it, but if there's just a random bat lying around, I'm not, easy to miss that. And Malevolent Rumble here maybe gives a dash of hope to find something, but
well, it's a nice little 2 drop. I can get
Yeah,
another food. Well, taking the Death Dealer. Okay.
you take the Death Dealer rather than the Baker's Bane. I mean, this turn they block the same because he does not have green mana.
Unfortunately, he could have actually had green mana, but it used his hidden grotto because he didn't play his swamp first.
But it always leaves the Hidden Grotto untapped. That's my problem. And this is the one time you wanted it untapped.
I know.
Arena, arena. I find whenever I have that land, they have it be the last land I tap, even when it means I can't do exactly what I wanted to do. But here, it tapped it too soon.
Um. Oh, he actually just has lethal, I think, because
Was that the Scurry of
um,
Gremlins?
no, not even Bellowing Bruiser, and then you can Archon's Glory it to fly it, and then that's 9
Oh, he drew
flying.
the Archon's Glory. He could sack the clue. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been holding the Archon's Glory. It was in his opening hand. He's just been holding on to
So
it.
it's plus two flying.
Food, right? So Thomas is food, so it won't be lethal.
And then if you. How does it work? It's plus two, and if
If you
you.
target it, it's flying in lifelink, I
Oh,
think.
okay. You need a bargain for both. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a pretty good deal. I wouldn't.
yeah,
It's a bargain.
yeah. As one might say. Yeah, so it's not going to be
um,
quite lethal because of the food, but it'll get pretty close. You're not going to use the combat trick if it's not lethal, but
I mean, yeah, that's an option. I mean, it gives Thomas next to no outs likely.
right. Yeah, he'd have to draw. Okay, Zach looking to just deploy Scurry of Gremlins here.
I mean that works too.
Well, he's thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, nice to have options this late in the game for an aggro deck, right? That's what you want.
Okay, yeah, Scurry of Gremlins look like it's going to get cast here.
Like a lot of aggro decks is just cast your cards in order and hope it's good enough. And here it's no, he's ahead on basically all axes that are important, and he has choices. So just goes to show again the quality of the players that we have here.
Unfortunately, gremlins are not bats, birds, rabbits, or frogs. Whatever the other, I don't mice. But
Mouse, rabbit, bird, bat. I guess for one.
yeah, something like that. Gremlins is not one of those. So
Not
no
yet.
scratch here.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, he's actually gonna just throw his quest caller now. Throw an
Okay.
airborne. So that's gonna be 9 in the air.
Yeah. So Thomas will have to block basically all the ground creatures. So he'll lose two and eat two, and he'll be at.
The
Oh,
torch,
he says I'm going to use a torch.
torch the Death Dealer. I think that
Okay.
makes sense, especially
Yep. Yep.
while it doesn't have regenerate mana up.
Kill a blocker.
Yeah, so he's going to 2 because he'll take the 8 in the air, plus he has to take one of these 2/1s.
Yeah. I'll go to 12 and then two,
Yeah,
and then there's a haste coming, and there's still a flyer.
yeah. It would be tough for um, Thomas to come back from this situation. I think.
And he bargained away the Scurry of Gremlins. It did what it needed to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's Zach saying, I probably am not getting any more energy. I don't need this
Yeah,
anymore.
revitalizing repass off the top. That's that Golgari double face card from MH3. Not going to work. So Zach is one win closer to being the player of the year and fulfilling seemingly his own prophecy.
Not only that, but yeah, he's just opened up the friend box and said, "I can't tell the correct line" after completely demolishing that game. So
So yeah, he was in the saloon calling everything exactly as it happened. It seems.
it would be not only an impressive feat for him to win Player of the Year, but also predict the winner of every single event correctly.
Yeah, I would say it
Um,
would be a memorable moment,
I
perhaps.
think I think we might have to test Zach for some ESP after this or something.
Looks Skullduggery coming in. Looks like another chance is coming out. That's just the 3 mana
So
get two
gonna
things back.
I mean,
And I
this is yeah,
think
this
that's
is an
about all the
incredibly great
changes.
game, I think.
Yeah, he just added a little piece of interaction, cheap interaction, and took out a get back two creatures spell. But other than that, he's as prepared as he's going to be for game
He's
two.
looking at Barrage of Boulders.
He's thinking about putting it in
Um,
or taking it out.
I don't know that I love that, but if he's got Ferocious, it might be able to do something.
Yeah, I mean, we know Zach is not. He's not stacked high on removal, so he has
Richard,
to.
I can't hear you, by the way, if you're... I don't know what's going on, but
Oh,
your
can,
Discord sound's not coming through.
can you not hear me? Are you able to hear me now? Hello? Can anybody else hear me? I'm
Audience can hear Richard? Okay, so maybe it's on my end.
Audience can hear.
I'm going to restart real quick.
okay. Hopefully, we can get that fixed. If not, maybe somebody else will step in. But we're gonna focus on the game now. So if Jack is unable to hear me for some reason, well, somebody else will sub in very quickly. I hope, and we will continue with this all important Player of the Year finals here.
Yeah, I still am not able to hear you. That's odd.
Huh.
I'm going to try joining on mobile real quick.
Okay. Yeah. If not, just we can get somebody else to get in here. We see Thomas take a mulligan. He did have a two swamps and a black one drop, but just really not good enough. And this hand looks yeah, probably about as good as you're going to get for a mulligan, with a couple of nice two drops, and then I assume he's going to send back one of the expensive looking cards here. Vengeful Creeper may be a bit slow for the matchup. Yeah, so if we can't get Jack here back, I mean I can hear him, but
Hello?
well, yeah, what's up?
Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, your audio just cut out on my computer
Huh.
for some reason, but mobile now,
Okay.
and I think it should...
Well, yeah, that's weird because it seemed like other people could hear me. Anyway, we see Thomas take a mulligan here and end up with a pretty playable six. What's Zach looking at?
So he's taking a mulligan as well. He didn't
Oh, he's still deciding.
firsthand, but he's got Mountain Plains, and then pretty decent selection of two drops here. So he's got a Hex Gold Slip, a Nettle Guard, one of his Valley Quest Collars, and his final card in hand is a Ghost Fire Slice.
Hex Gold Slith is not a rabbit, bird, bat, or mouse. I don't think.
Back to
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, very playable six here. Baker's Bane Duo. He's got Rakshasa Death Dealer, which it's a two drop, but a lot of time you want to cast it on four because of the activate ability that can pump it or regenerate it. Uh,
Right.
and he's drawn a Patient Naturalist here to play on turn three, which can then play nicely into Dance of the Tumbleweeds at some point to make a large creature.
Okay.
So pretty respectable start here after the mulligan. Uh, this is what you need against aggro. You need to play your own two drops and have them be creatures that can attack. So Baker's Bane Duo fits that bill. Rakshasa Death Dealer fits that bill. And Patient Naturalist blocks Hex Gold Slith here as far as Thomas knows, it blocks it.
Yeah. Oh, there's no tricks really. I mean, okay, Zach's just gonna fire off Ghost Fire Slice, and get his plus and plus counter in.
Yeah, and he's hoping to just use enough removal to get this with another counter. I mean, he still has the first strike up, so that's good. So he can threaten to make it a 4-3 with first strike, but yeah, we get the Rakshasa Death Dealer. So even by today's standards, I would say this is a pretty strong card, even though it's 10 years old. 2 mana 2/2, and you could pay green black to regenerate it, and you can play green black to give it +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of days we see creatures like that with the plus two pump, and they say you can only use it once a turn.
Yeah, you can just do this as much as you want. So late in the game, this plus a bunch of mana is it's difficult to deal with. But you need your Wrath of God, right?
Yeah, can't be
Destroy all
regenerated.
creatures that can't be regenerated. I mean, that's the true answer. Yeah, just
So
not a word we see on Magic cards nowadays.
Zach has drawn an auspicious arrival, so he can present an attack. It'll be interesting if what Thomas chooses to do with his Death Dealer, if he chooses to regenerate it or give it +2/+2.
I have to imagine he'll choose to regenerate, but another strange thing about regenerate, if opponent's creature has first strike, you don't actually get to kill their creature if your creature regenerates.
It's removed from combat. Yep.
It dies during first strike. Instead of dying, it gets tapped and removed from combat, so neither die. Again, just another reason why we don't see regenerate. It just plays in a weird way that giving something indestructible till end of turn is much cleaner.
Okay, Metastatic Avenger looks pretty good here with, he's only got a counter on his Slith, and it will actually be able to get some more energy.
Okay, so he decides to not commit to some attack that he may not want to use a trick to get through here. Thomas has drawn kind of an unassuming trick that is pretty decent right now, which is a High Stride. That's from Bloomborough. It didn't see too much play, but we got it's a 1 mana for +1/+3 and an untap. I can't recall
That's
if it
also
gives
not.
reach or not, but I assume it does, based on
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
in the
It
past.
feels like it probably should.
I mean, yeah, you're jumping higher, right? So makes sense.
Yeah.
So he feels confident attacking here again. Well, Rakshasa Death Dealer can almost always feel pretty confident attacking with mana up, and Baker's Bane. He might just be happy to trade Baker's Bane for either of these without using the trick. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, I was going to say I probably don't want to block, especially with Zach being able to play 2 creatures and proliferate that Slith up to 5/4 seems pretty strong.
Yeah, so there was a line where Thomas could have made a 5/5 if he wanted to with Dance of the Tumbleweeds. I think he's just saving it for next turn to play his land, get the land, and get the token.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just ends up looking a little rough here. He does have a trick, so
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. And especially holding up mana to regenerate and also pump it means it's probably just going to eat something.
yeah. I mean, I think he's looking at the Slith here. I mean, Metastatic Angel is something you want to kill, but this Slith is just, it being a 5/4 is going to be not something he wants. Zach has a trick of some kind too, right?
He's holding an auspicious arrival, which won't really help him in this
No,
instance.
it'll just, yeah, it'll make Thomas use mana, but I mean, I think he might have to just let this one happen.
Yep. And then I assume we're going to develop Quest Caller, Quest Combat, and call it a turn.
I mean, he gets another energy. That's something.
It is true. We know he's got Grave Gremlins. It's on the off chance he draws at this game, well, it'll be nice to have that energy
Like I
sort of.
said, I think Thomas knows Thomas knows from the last game he has it in his deck too. He's drawn, who I like to call my boy here, or one of them, the Vault Plunderer. But this turn's just going to be make a very large creature and hopefully stabilize ourselves and not just stave off the attacks, but turn the game in his favor here. He says attack for 3, and I have a 7/7. And from what we saw from Zach's deck, not. I mean, he has answers, but not too many answers for a 7/7.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to just sack this herring. Um, Otherwise it will be jumping right into a Vigil Elemental, which I'm sure he does not want to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's yeah, he just made a 7/7 and just did a very green thing. I'm gonna make a gigantic creature, and if you can stop it, cool. But if not, this is what I'm trying to ride to victory. And I mean, through all this, Zach's at 9 right now, right? He's not been blocking. I mean, the blocks haven't been good, but also the aggro deck doesn't want to block as much. So Thomas, his deck isn't outwardly aggressive, but I know he does like aggressive decks, so he's keeping that in mind with his actions. Right? He says, "I can't just sit around. I need to be proactive in this game, or else the aggro deck will swarm me like we saw last game."
He's kept a Jackdaw Savior on top, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it here. I feel like you are kind of wanting to dig to answers for that 7/7, although he's maybe thinking that. a 3-1 just to fly over the top of whatever's going on might be good.
Yeah, I don't like with his opponent at 13. I don't know if you know Zach is going to be able to have a 3-1 flyer matter right now, considering he has a lower life total and we have a large creature here to handle.
Exactly.
I mean, in Zach's side, maybe he's thinking, I can chump block, I can find my way through, eventually maybe find an answer, or just continue to chump block and clock in the air, and maybe with a ground creature. We'll see. I mean, the thing is that if Thomas is afraid of dying on the ground, he can just leave back his Death Dealer every turn.
Oh, so Zach actually thinking about swinging out here.
Okay.
What's Thomas holding in his hand? What's his last card?
He's just got the lovely Vault Plunderer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess he's saying like, well, I got to swing with red herring, so something's gonna die. I may as well just swing it all. Okay,
Yeah,
no, you should just go for the
I
herring.
don't think throwing away one of these 2 drops is the way. Like for all that for 2 damage, like 4 if Thomas decides not to trade off the Death Dealer.
Okay, looks like he's going for it.
I mean, the length of time that it took Zach to make this decision would indicate to me that he doesn't have something to win combat with, like to beat the 7/7 in combat. If he did, I would imagine he's just attacking immediately.
Right, that's my thought as well.
I mean, you can't always take cues from how long people take to make their decisions, but you know, I would think if he had something to win combat against a 7/7, he'd just confidently proceed. So he does. Thomas does decide his Death Dealer is worth keeping alive here at the expense of taking a bit of extra damage. Interesting that he killed the Quest Caller rather than the Metastatic. Maybe he was afraid of like a deal 4.
Well, it actually keeping the Death Dealer alive means Thomas just has lethal right now.
That could work too. Yeah, I mean, depending on blocks.
Well, you block the 7/7, the Death Dealer gets pumped to an 8/8, and then that's
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, okay. Thomas says, "Okay, I'll do this."
I mean, there's the off chance Zach has interaction, but or at least from Thomas's perspective, but I can if I confirm that he does not. He's just gonna blow up this food.
He says, let me trash that on the way out."
He says, "No, no, no, Thomas, you might want to sack this because I'm blowing it up. I don't know, man. You might want to get your life out of this before it
And
goes."
that's why these players are the Player of the Year finals. Because I'm sitting here thinking about how Thomas how Thomas blocks to stay alive, and he's thinking about how he blocks to win the next turn. And yeah, I guess Zach just didn't see that. And
Well, hold on. Oh, Vault Plunder. He's gonna finish it in style.
oh, it's my
That,
boy.
I like
My
that.
boy is doing its job here.
Bit of a bit of
I guess
stuff.
he wanted to leave up regen mana just in case, but a little cheeky 1 damager. I don't know. Player of the year. I don't know if it's worth showing your opponent a card to win with such style, but I like it regardless.
As spectators we appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think it's such a big card to show your opponent that your opponent now knows you have this versus not. Zach's not furiously sideboarding against a Vault Plunderer lethal.
Right. Okay, it looks like he wants to bring in Moment of Valor, it looks like.
Moment of Valor. Is that it's a pump
That's
spell of
the
some kind?
it's the Wild Civil Drain card that you can either pump a creature and give it indestructible or destroy a creature with power 4 or greater.
Oh, for 3 mana, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thomas said, "I'm good. I like my deck." Thomas employs similar sideboarding strategies to me, which is minimal to none.
Yeah, Zach's he's doing a bit of changes. He's looks like he wants to bring in a War Squeak also.
Okay, I know that's a card he was playing right to the end of Bloomborough League. So
Yeah, maybe just trying to find as many ways to push damage through these big creatures Thomas was presenting last match.
yeah, so I mean, we saw Zach's deck. He has a couple removals, but just not as many ways as he'd like to deal with these big things. So maybe not blocking is gonna be the way.
I mean, the stand seems about as good as it gets. He's got 3 2 drops, 3 lands, and an Archon's Glory.
Yeah,
And
we got a nice one from Thomas too. So it looks like we're gonna have a very competitive game here. We have Rakshasa Death Dealer, Malevolent Rumble, Beast Bond Outcaster. This one that draws a card if you have a 4 power creature, and the Gingerbread Hunter as well, which could
okay,
be a very strong weapon against this Boros aggro deck.
so Zach's got this Nettle Guard. His other 2 drops are Sunshot Militia and that Metastatic Evangel, and then he's got his Archon's Glory in him as well.
I mean, Thomas doesn't have any instant speed interaction, so an Archon's Glory will, you know, win Zach combat at some point. But his
Gingerbread,
creatures are of a pretty high quality here.
the Gingerbread Hunter is instant speed, right? The adventure.
Yeah, it's 2 and a black minus. It's Saver basically, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it's exactly Saver except 1 more mana. This
Well, I don't think.
2023 ancient archaic design, 3 mana for -2/-2.
Yeah, you don't get the food out of the adventure. You get it out of playing that
Yeah,
creature itself as well.
yeah. You get the food later. But yeah,
Okay.
Gingerbread Hunter was a card you always splashed the half of it that wasn't your main color. Like you never didn't splash one half of it.
Right. Zach probably a little annoyed to see this Rakshasa deck dealer back. So had
Yeah,
enough of it.
Zach does have the attack through more non-conventional means with the Sunshot Militia, but Thomas is putting up a very reasonable defense against what he sees here. I mean, pretty much free attack with the Death Dealer, but no. Okay, so he's leaving up the Gingerbread Hunter, opting not to play Baker's Bane Duo or Malevolent Rumble or Plot the Outcaster. So he's leaving up the Gingerbread Hunter or Rakshasa activation. Yeah, I mean, just again, always good to have options. What's Zach's plan of attack here?
He's got a torch he's playing. I assume just uses mana. Looks like he's gonna equip as well.
Yeah, it doesn't improve the attack necessarily. I mean, he gets a
Well,
toughness bump, but
it actually will make him. Well, I mean, I guess just block in Rakshasa
yeah,
and
Thomas instinctively is pulling up the Gingerbread Hunter, but the Nettle Guard can actually sack itself to kill the Razor, the retrofitted. So, which will
there's also.
cancel, which will cancel the adventure.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. So
Yeah,
that would actually fizzle the whole spell, wouldn't it?
yeah. So I think instinctively he pulled up the Gingerbread Hunter, was about to cast it, and then perhaps took a moment, said, "Okay, the Nettle Guard can just sack to kill my thing, and then I don't get the 5/5, which I don't want." So yeah, he's now pointing to the Nettle Guard and then going to his Transmogrant right after he decided he figured it out. Yeah, like I said, your first instinct. Okay, your opponent wants to pump the thing. Okay, let me kill it. Wait, what do all the cards do? Okay, but I mean, we still have Rakshasa here that can be activated.
Yeah, I think as long as that card's in the field, Zach's gonna have problems getting damage through because it's a great blocker. It being able to just regenerate and soak up damage is just gonna be a problem for Zach here.
Yeah, just such a clean design. You just read it. Like it's not complicated, but there's a lot of play to it. You know it's good, but it's not like busted and beatable. It's like just like in the right space of you know just a strong rare.
Okay, taking them 1 damage.
All right,
Sunshot
well
Militia will
we're on the
probably have
board.
to.
We're on the
Yeah,
board.
this militia I think is gonna have to
Damage has been dealt.
pull more than its weight this match.
Now he's in the clear to kill this Metastatic Evangel and
Yep.
not get his adventure fizzled. And pretty clear sort of. He could do Baker's Bane Duo. I believe Beastbound Outcaster is 2 to plot, if I recall.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So next turn, yeah, he's setting up next turn where he can play Gingerbread, play a 3/3, draw a card, and hopefully wrestle control of this game in his favor. Because if he does that uncontested, he's going to be well in the lead.
So Zach has some attacks here at least. His Rakshas is not holding a mana, but that Transmogrant threatening blocks here as well.
Yeah, and you could do the
The
classic Bloomburrow play of just equipping your already equipped creature if you want to.
It looks like he's doing that. Yeah, paying them one. Are you sure you
Which
want to target
it's just
Metalcard?
it's just so unintuitive that this works, right?
Yeah.
I remember at the pre-release, I had to call a judge because somebody was like, "Can you do that? Can you equip your creature that's already equipped to trigger this?" And the judge was like, "Yeah." It's just like it's just intuitively, it's not really clean. But yeah, he says, "Let me take
Uh,
this opportunity to kill the Death Dealer." And I mean, Thomas knew that that was a possibility, so
yeah. I think that's smart on Zach. Get it off the field before my opponent can hold up more mana. Okay.
he's saying I'm going to double block here. I have 8 power and a card and another food coming to me next turn. So
Yeah.
whatever you play, you're doing combat. Cool. He says it's worth it. And if not, I get your creature off the board.
Zach thinking about Archon's Glory. I think he probably wants to save it
It's hard to pass
for a
up, but
later.
he does like see what's coming, right? Like
Right.
he sees these 2 cards in exile and he knows that's gonna be a lot to fight against. Can the Archon's Glory help him fight against that, or does he want to use it now?
There's always potential with cards like that with the Archon's Glory where you can kind of surprise your opponent with some flying damage to finish them off. But with Thomas at 19, it's going to be rough to get him there.
And like I said, Thomas said my life total is valuable. I don't want to take damage. I want to force cards out of his hand. I have the advantage. I'm playing 8 power next turn.
So no Archon's Glory coming down. He's going to ping his opponent for one.
Okay, makes sense. Pretty straightforward turn here. Zach knows what the turn is. Thomas
Yep.
knows what the turn is, and everybody watching knows as well. But I mean, yeah, just go from no board to a food, a card, and 2 creatures that are bigger than your opponents.
I feel like this is unfortunate draw. I mean, it's a good card, but it's unfortunate for Zach that he's just sacked his torch.
Yeah, the torch would have been nice. Yeah, he has also still in hand for Thomas is a long stock brawl. So if he feels maybe the 4/4 is too big, if he's getting annoyed by the Sunshot Militia, he can knock off one of those. He has a Malevolent Rumble, so that can find him some more creatures to play. He has also a land.
That
So
that brawl has potential. You know, it depends on how it plays out, but Zach still holding up this Archon's Glory has potential to make the brawl not work or even potentially backfire.
yep, it is a fight. So
Right.
if your opponent has a pump spell, your creature can die. Normally, with the traditional, what we've come to call bite spells, uh, you can't lose your own creature as a result of a pump spell from the opponent. And this is gonna be a bit of a setback here for Thomas.
So is he's not gifting a fish, is he?
Nope.
So yeah, he's actually paying a green to kill his own gingerbread hunter, which is
And discard a card.
yeah, that's not great for Thomas really. Like that's
Yeah, that could be the thing that makes a world of difference here, right? Like
wow.
this
Yeah,
could
that's a
be
pretty
game
big
deciding
setback.
potentially. Yeah, and I mean, this is probably one of the reasons why they've moved away from fight spells, just because how bad it feels when stuff like this happens. Like it just feels so bad. Like you cast a fight spell and your creature lost the fight. Like at least with the bite spell, again, you can get blown up by removal, but not a pump spell.
Wow. I mean, Zach now drawing on the job.
Is that it? No, well, there's 2 foods, so it can't
There's
it can't quite be it.
foods.
But yeah, it looked like with that 5/5, it looked like Thomas had a fortress to protect here, but now it's looking less good here. And with that one Archon's Glory that just blows out the fight spell,
So Zach actually might just be firing this off for damage purposes,
I mean, it's a
and
lot.
it'll get him a clue as well that he can use to draw
I mean,
cards next turn.
it's 16.
It's
Yeah,
16, yeah. So Thomas even eating both of his foods will go to 7.
yeah. How one unexpected little pump spell can turn a game on its head, particularly in the way in that it invalidated the fight spell and killed big creature.
Yeah, I mean that's
Thomas is
that's a
now,
huge because I think we both felt that Thomas was in pretty good control.
and one last damage here. This is, I mean, we know
He's
Thomas
gonna
doesn't
do
have that many cards that on their own can solve this problem. He's drawn a Thornplate Intimidator, which is it's
okay.
something. It's something he can cast.
It's two blockers.
He does need to kill the Sunshot Militia because Zach can just say I retreat from combat, but I attack you on this axis.
I mean, that's a lot of damage Zach's taking here. I don't know if Thomas is. Yeah. Oh my god.
Is it the
Oh
Scurry of
my
Gremlins?
god. Scurry of Gremlins.
Oh
That's
well,
lethal.
and
That'll do it.
I mean, very fitting way to get this done. Scurry of Gremlins doing its thing. We saw in the last round. We see in this game come off the top for looks like
Wow.
exact lethal here.
Exact lethal. Look at that.
We got our Player of the Year. Congratulations, Zach C, 2024 Player of the Year. Scurry of Gremlins, MVP, no doubt of his run here to the top. So big congratulations and thanks for watching.